Okay, boys and girls, this lesson focuses on warm and cool colours. Now, we've already looked at the colour wheel and we understand now, and we can demonstrate that warm colours are yellows, oranges and reds, and cool colours are greens, blues and purples. So we're going to do a koi fish painting today, and I'm going to demonstrate first how you actually draw those lines. So I'm going to have you do it in pencil first, and you're going to do it in pencil very lightly. I will demonstrate to do it in Sharpie so you can see it clearly with the video. The first thing that you need to do is draw the fish. So if you just imagine like great big teardrops, okay, just like that, and you're going to add small fins at the back and then slightly bigger ones at the front. And they can go off the page or they can be coming in the page. So I'll do another fish there. I'm going to do his fin there. And another fin there, so it looks like he's just coming in. And I'll do another guy there, okay? Big fin and a little fin. So they're very simplistic, kind of abstract. Now I want to just add in a couple of lily leaves, so they don't have to be perfectly round, but just do a curve, do a little cutout, a curve like that. And I'll do a smaller one here, okay? Now, this drawing shows that we divided it up. So how we do that is just randomly, don't go too busy, but just bring a line. You can do sort of like an abstract organic shape, a bit like a puddle. You can bring another one. It's up to you how you want to divide the page. I'm going to do a little abstract shape there and divide the page like that. The simplest thing to do is to start with the lily leaves and then the fish, and you're going to get a palette of colour, and you're going to be using white as a tint, so you'll be making the green lighter, okay? So if I do this and I make a light green, that's how you're going to get the variations of greens and blues as well as the oranges. So I'm just going to do this section. Can you see how we've divided it up? I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. I'm going to change that colour again. And I'm going to do the rest of it, because it's not divided up, in that lighter green. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with the fish, so that I take each section of the koi fish and I do reds, oranges, yellows, and we've even got some gold on our palette as well, so that we get those variations. This is where we do the fish and the lily leaves first, because if you did the water first, then it's very difficult to try and identify the fish shapes afterwards. So at the moment we still can see that we've got the fish here and coming in here. And then we know that we've got two lily pads, and you will know where you've got your lily pads and where you've got your fish. Now I'm going to do this one at the top here in the darker green. So there I've got variations in greens that give me these cool colours. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my brush, because I want to go a little bit larger with my brush just because of the size of the fish sections that I've got. So I'm going to just do this. You're going to have a variation of brushes as well, depending on the size of the sections. And then a water pot as well to clean your brush as you move forward. So I'm just going to set this to the side, and then I'm going to start with my fish. So now you can see I've got my lily pads done, and I'm only going to demonstrate. I'm going to start really with the yellow first, not do anything with the yellow, and I'm just going to bring in that yellow. Now you'll find that you go over the Sharpie lines ever so slightly because you're trying to keep it tight, and this is what we're trying to practice as well as our fine motor skills with our painting technique. When the painting is completely dry, when you've done everything, fish, lily pads and water, you will then go over those lines once more with a Sharpie. Now I'm going to take a little bit of orange and a little bit of yellow, and that's why we've got this lovely palette, and then I've made a nice peachy colour, and I'm going to fill in the next section. So you can see I'm not putting two colours the same side by side. I'm keeping it that each section is different, and if I want to reuse a colour, make sure that you've got enough of it mixed up before you start to paint a section, because you don't want to run out of that colour when you're in the middle of it. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to do this fish and this fish and this fish using these warm colours. Now remember, you can add white, and when you add white, you're making it into a tint, which means that you're making it a lighter shade. And then you can paint that tint. So you're not just getting one flat orange, one flat red, you're making new colours as you go along. And you've already been experimenting with that as you've been going through the year with us. Okay, so I'm going to continue with that, and this is the finished effect that we're looking for. So if you just take another look at that, boys and girls, and then you can see there's no two colours exactly the same beside each other, and then we went over them at the very end with a Sharpie again when that whole painting was dry. So now it's your turn, boys and girls. Let's go and make some art.